Hello, greetings. This is Gilles Mention. So I come and say hello to you today. I'm not in on the Open Up today, so it's like I wasn't going to talk, but Spirit says to come anyway, for it is important. Even those some days it's very easy to be enthusiastic and to be happy, and other days we are confronted with like heavy energies, and it's usually the energy that we get first thing in the morning that condition the situations of our day. So it is a day that is maybe more difficult for me, yet I'm trying to stay optimistic even when I'm not. Is like to present optimistic messages and still provide information that may be valuable, for we are all different, we are all unique, and so I can only comment on my own process, hoping that those processes will assist you in your own process, for we are all different. The situation is mean and heavy, so it's like that's what it's about. So life can be mean and heavy. We do not want to be mean and heavy, we want to be kind and light. The situation that goes around that is puja, purification. We have to continue to purify ourselves. The more pure this purification is difficult, but the more pure we are, the easier things will flow. What we see before us in our conscious mind is a burning bush. The lineage tree, it's like a revelation, something is being revealed. Spirit says everything will be fine, and so I'm going to return to that, but it's like sometimes the mind is it's a lot easier for the mind to hold on to material problem than to believe in spiritual potential. So it depends on the day, because the astrology may have its big effect on that. The conversation, energetic conversation between the planet. The more enlightened we are, the more and conscious of those interactions, the more they influence us as well. But then we experience more as well. The more conscious we are, we may experience some ups and downs, but we experience more of the ups and more of the down. We live more. What's in our subconscious is the three spirit Shakti. It's how we grow. It's the understanding of the consciousness of being anchored, of growing, of growing. And right now the situation is the horseplay. We want to play. We want to have fun. We want to enjoy ourselves. We want to move into light situation. What's coming up in the near future is the wonderful card of the Phoenix. It is a rebirth. So it is very much as the sun. It is all the good things of life that may be unexpected, because Uranus may bring those unexpected good things into our life. The power we have in this situation is the hot seat. We are seated in this hot seat. It's the seat of the emperor. It's the seat of power. It is a seat of much responsibility, but it's also about having brilliant ideas and carrying them through, focusing on the positive light. What comes to us from the outside world in our environment is a recall. It's memory. Memory, it's like a tiger that can bite us in the ass sometimes. So we want to integrate our memory in a pleasant way as much as possible. But we have to integrate those past memories. It's inevitable. We've created all those things in the past, and now we have to integrate it in order to be free from them. What we have in our inner emotion, our hopes and fear, is the living goddess. It is justice. It is balance. It is beauty. It is grace. So it's all potentially there. And the outcome is the Holocaust. It's the Tower of God. It is the house on fire. It is we are being everything that's no longer aligned with the new parameters is being shattered. And so to make space, so it's about allowing this time of healing, this time of regathering our energy, of finding this wholeness. And once we pass through that, then we'll find amusement. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of freedom, a lot of enjoyment that will be. So this work of purification is quite useful. For we are all dimensions are shifting. There is this great shift on all dimensions of the universe. That many other planets, humans do not know that yet. Civilizations, some of them those are in fifth dimension are moving into six. Those in six are moving into seven. Those in seven are moving into eight. But the higher we go, the less of the shift it is. For us down here, from the third and fourth dimension into the fifth dimension, is where we feel the shift the deepest, and it's the most difficult place to shift with the universe at this time. For we have to, in a sense, it's very difficult, mostly for me today, so I hope you're having an easier time, but I'm sort of share that anyway, make a video. Is to because the mind has the tendency to want to need to fix the broken part, to fix the problems of the world, when in actuality we have to let go and allow ourselves to flow into the higher planes, into grace, into divine ecstasy. But it's not easy, because we're still trapped by this mind. And those who do not have fear, there are people that shows that they have no fear. In truth, everybody has fear. As long as we live in a physical body, there is this cellular memory of this animalistic energy that will bring us fear. But fear is like those who have no fear. It's just because they choose to ignore it. They have fear, but they do it anyway. They pass through it. They elevate themselves above it. So that's the idea. It's like not to eliminate fear. Fear can always comes back, but it's to ignore it as much as possible and go through it regardless of the fear. I'm not saying about the fear to do something that's unwise, but fear of something that could bring us some good things is to let go of those fear and move through it. For there is no return to the 3D harmony, the 3D sanity, those unconscious paths of living fully in the material world. For we are in the fourth dimension now. There is no returning to the lower aspect. We have to go through the process, and our mind and spirit will find resolution in the fifth dimension, in the unity of things, and then we'll find total freedom and joy and appreciation for that process we've been through. And we cannot return to old relationships. They're past, so we have to create new relationship. Whatever works still works, it works. But if something no longer works, we cannot go back to it. We all are ascending differently, so no one can create your ascension for you. You are the decider of this ascension. And so it's like follow your own path, your own spiritual, your insight, your feeling thoughts, your intuition. We pull 4 cards for the day. The highest wisdom is the higher self. It's connecting to our higher self, trusting our higher self, understanding once we find our higher self, we'll find freedom, we'll find truth, we'll be elevated, we'll be integrated within this soul frequency. What we need to understand is destiny. We came here with a destiny. Destiny is returning to the one, to the source, to be empowered, to return to our divine essence. Always implied, destiny is the origin. It's returning to the origin point, to complete the cycle. I'm going to speak about the cycle of karma. I'm just expressing some ideas. It's just my ideas here and now. For those things change all the time, and I'm not pretending to possess the truth. I'm just expressing my truth in hoping that those will serve you. What we need to do is surrender. We have to let go of those things that are no longer serve us. And the outcome is responsibility. There is new responsibility that will be integrated, that will be joyful to assume as well. For I wanted to say that the material actual is confronting the spiritual potential, but the mind is more attached to the problems of the material than the invisible potential of the spiritual. When we're fully optimistic and a good days, it's easy to put all our attention into the potential spiritual, but when we feel like we're not in the highest energy, it's like the material actual is becoming oppressive sometimes. So it's about freeing ourselves and understanding those things will be freed from us. And so yeah, I wanted to discuss the golden rule. The golden rule is known as the sermon of Hippocrates. It's all the doctors have taken this oath. It's also with Hippocrates. That's the golden rule: do no harm. As long as you do no harm, there is no karma. You can do anything you want from a cosmic standpoint, but there is a lot of people that are criminals that are spending their whole life because of greed and selfishness to hurt other people. I'm not judging. We still live in a world where there are many on the internet and all around the world, and there are many of those. What those people do not know is that they're creating misery for themselves. So one criminal life will imply many life in misery. So if we want to eliminate poverty, I'm not saying we don't want to eliminate poverty. I have compassion for those who are suffering, but all those people who have suffered have lived life it's because they lived life that was so unethical. They chose this life that they're going to suffer, so they can balance out this karma. We cannot eliminate suffering and poverty until we eliminate criminality. It's all linked together. It's karma. It's the balance of things. And so some people spend their whole life hurting others for selfish purposes, and then they have to incarnate in very difficult situations, sometimes many lives, and then it goes into endless cycle of karma. And so, but we all had those life. We all had life when we first came into this matrix. We had life where we explored the dark. Then we created dark. We created suffering, and then we explore suffering. We reincarnated in position where we experience suffering. If now we are fully aligned with ethics, we're fully aligned with moral, with the desire to do no harm, is because we've learned from those lessons, and now we do not want to do harm because we know we will have to pay for it, and all the criminals do not know that. For Jesus said, forget them, Father, they do not know what they do. If they knew what they were doing, they would not do it. So it's about forgiveness. We have to forgive ourselves. To way to free ourselves from karma is the Dharma. It's aligning ourselves with the law of love, the law of one, the law of forgiveness, and that will free us to follow that law. Well, those are just thoughts. I hope you resonate with. For it is about understanding the perfection of life. For all those suffering have been created by each soul in past life, but we do not know. As a civilization, we believe that life is greatly unfair because we only see the physical manifestation of life and not the cause or the final effect. For every suffering will lead us to freedom eventually. And so we want to forgive the criminals, but we want to keep that. Eventually, this planet will have to be cleansed of all those unethical process in order for humanity to be free. Everybody has to become responsible for his or her action. Well, it's just some thoughts. I hope I'm just having a difficult day today, but it's still okay. I'm like still. Spirit says everything will be fine, and talking to me about paradise, and so I don't know if paradise will come to me in this lifetime or if I will be after my life. Or I feel like sometimes if I would be dead, I know my art will sell really well, but until I'm here, for now, it's like I feel like there is certain difficulty. It's like. In just living for now, it's just this physical reality is not all that enjoyable, but I'm holding on to hope. Hope is sometimes very, even in the hope was introduced by Prometheus. Was a god when the first woman was created, Pandora. They told her not to accept any gift from Zeus, but she took this. It was a lamp. It was called a box, but it actually was some kind of a lamp. And Zeus put all the illness of the world, all the plagues of the world, and they told her not to open that box. And then Prometheus put hope in it just in case she opened it, and she did open it, and then the misery went into the world. It's just a metaphor. All those things, those mythological stories are metaphors, and so all the misery went in. But she closed it, and hope stayed inside. So it's like no matter what happened on the outside world, this hope is always there inside to give us a chance to come out of that whatever circumstances there may be. I'm going to finish with the song. It's a French song. I'm not really feeling so good, but I'm going to try to sing it anyway. This is a portrait of a man. It's a portrait. It's part of the series I did in this year, and this is a white hole number 2. It's like the one I showed yesterday was like an undertone that was beige, and this one has an undertone that is blue. They're really very quiet. I really like those paintings. This song is an ecological song. It's a French song. It's about a promoter that comes to destroy a garden to create parking lots and things like that. So it was like this. C'était un petit jardin qui sentait bon le métropolitain, qui sentait bon le bassin parisien. C'était un petit jardin avec une table et une chaise de jardin, avec 2 arbres, un pommier et un sapin, au fond d'une cour à la chaussée d'Antin. Mais un jour, près du jardin, passa un homme qui au revers de son veston portait une fleur de béton. Dans le jardin, une voix chanta de grâce, monsieur le promoteur. De grâce, préservez cette grâce. De grâce, monsieur le promoteur. ne coupez pas mes fleurs. C'était un petit jardin qui sentait bon le métropolitain, qui sentait bon le bassin parisien. C'était un petit jardin avec un rouge-gorge dans son sapin, avec un homme qui faisait son jardin au fond d'une cour à la chaussée d'Antin. Mais un jour, près du jardin, passa un homme qui au revers de son veston portait une fleur de béton. Dans le jardin, une voix chanta: de grâce, monsieur le promoteur, de grâce, préservez cette grâce, de grâce, monsieur le promoteur, ne coupez pas mes fleurs. C'était un petit jardin qui sentait bon le bassin parisien. À la place du joli petit jardin, il y a l'entrée d'un souterrain, où sont rangés comme des parpaings les automobiles du centre urbain. C'était un petit jardin au fond d'une cour à la chaussée d'Antin. C'était un petit jardin au fond d'une cour à la chaussée d'Antin. Thank you for sticking to the end. Sorry, my voice is not really quite tough today, but it's very much about this understanding. It's the naturalist and the romantic in the literature was also saying that nature can never be equaled by machines. No matter what, this can never be done. Nature, there was all kinds of magical forces, the elementals and the magic kingdoms in nature. When men came in with all this machine and this industrialization, they withdrew into a higher dimension. But now we want to reintegrate nature, we want to live with nature. One of the great solutions of most cities would be to create vegetal facades so it can absorb some of this pollution, and so those things will come in the 21st century. We're going to need to address all those ideas of eliminating pollution, and eventually we're going to discover 0-point energy. There will be no more pollution. The card of the day is the Ace of Gabriel: passion, opportunity, inspiration. The occasion to do something marvelous is offering itself to you. Rejoice. So it is all potential. It is all. Let us focus on the potential rather than the actual. So I hope this message was interesting for you. I wish you a wonderful day. I don't know if I'll return. I will probably return. Spirit is asking me to. For I thought it would be a good time to make a break, but I'm still called to come in and speak. So I might continue to do that. I don't know when, but I thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, and I wish you a wonderful day. Namaste.